Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today's September 16th, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. We're looking at the Aleutian Islands here. It's BC, Washington, Oregon, upper level low off the coast of California. Here goes our next system. It's going to try to swing through British Columbia here in the next day or so. It's going to start to cool us down here as we go through this upcoming week, but we have the potential for another temperature bounce back as we go through the end of next week, warming things up again. But I wanted to show you guys this from last night. If you look closely here, you can see a lightning strike and some volcanic activity here off the Aleutian Islands there. So yeah, volcanoes can kick off their own lightning. You can kind of see the ash cloud move across the Gulf of Alaska there. So something interesting. Put that into motion. You can kind of see things go. But yeah, something interesting out there. And I'll show you a graphic here from the National Weather Service, Anchorage, Alaska as well in a minute. This is Seattle, 84 degrees, 12 degrees above average. What a nice warm day yesterday. No precipitation. Maybe we can squeeze a little bit out of one of these upcoming systems here, but no promises as of right now. But yeah, pretty warm day out there. Another warm day today before we start to cool down a bit. And this is the volcanic eruption up there, and you can see where it came from here is Cold Bay right there, and you can see that ash cloud, False Pass right there, and kick off a few lightning strikes. Interesting stuff there. You can see this was put out yesterday evening, 6:40. And if you want a nice affordable home weather station here across Pacific Northwest to measure all this crazy weather we get, I highly recommend this station. I did a wind test. Check out my Twitter there yesterday, and it was lockstep with the Davis anemometer, which is a $650 anemometer by itself. So the entire station will cost you easily upwards of $1,000, like $1,500 plus actually, versus this one where you can get about $310 or so with the 10% discount if you click down below. So anyway, yeah, there it is, all solar powered and wireless, nice smartphone app. Now take a look at the breezy winds, critical fire concerns, Spokane, Washington. This goes for Eastern Oregon here also. You can start to get these gusty winds with a low relative humidity here. So yeah, just going to watch out for that. This was issued yesterday about 3:30 p.m. And this is for Pendleton, Oregon here as well as we go through this weekend. Watch out, this fire spread. It's not, we're getting into later September here, but we can still be dealing with some fire activity. Now here we're looking at the dynamic tropopause here. You can kind of see the system swinging by as we go, cooling things down, shortwave swings through. Then the deeper trough starts to open up across the Pacific Northwest and some of the Intermountain West there. And that could bring some of the first snowflakes to some of the higher terrain of British Columbia, Montana, Idaho, down into California and Nevada even over the next, on and through next week here. So we're kind of watching that system closely. We kind of build a ridge here. You can see as we go on into the end of next week, though, we may warm back up again in the wake of that system. And then as we scroll far enough out into the end of September, you can see the next trough kind of setting up here in the Pacific Northwest. But that's way off in fantasy land at this point, but it has been showing up consistently in the models. Now here we're looking at 500 millibar heights on the European. When we put that into motion, you can see this upper level low. There it goes, starting to settle down right at the end of the run here. It goes at about 90 hours from yesterday, and here it comes. So you get some pretty good model agreement here on this chilly upper level low, setting up over the area and knocking our temperatures down a bit. This is looking at the European, total precipitation in inches. And you can see as these systems move through for Washington, Oregon, they're not huge precipitation makers. Pretty typical at this time of year. The further in the north you go up across some of the western BC coastline and British Columbia, it also helps squelch some of the fire activity out there as well. But you can see a little bit across the Cascades here, but we're not talking too much. But you can set upper level low. Pretty chilly. It's going to set up over the area, and it could bring some snowflakes to the higher terrain and some much needed rain here across the area as well. Now looking at Seattle Metro here, SeaTac Airport to be exact, and you can see 85 degrees, and you can see the drop as we go through this week. Some chilly temperatures coming up, at least compared to what we've been getting here the last few days. And then the bounce back in temperatures. Are we going to do it again for the third weekend in a row? That would be quite nice, and maybe some seasonably cool and maybe a trough around through the extended forecast. We'll worry about that as we get closer. This is Spokane, something similar here with the bounce back in temperatures potentially next weekend as well. Seattle Metro here on the European showing that trough and then the bounce back also. And now this is looking at fantasy windstorm out. You can see control member number 4 actually had a 55 mile per hour gust for SeaTac here. There's a smattering of some higher gusts, but you can see the vast majority of the ensemble members do not call for any significant wind in this time frame. You can actually see a little bit of blustery conditions here as we go through the night Thursday night. That's what the system swings by. But anyway, take a look at this. This is that fantasy run. Look at this storm system really developed across the Gulf of Alaska, right into Vancouver Island. Kind of a classic windstorm track there. Not unheard of, but purely fantasy at this point. Just kind of showing you what could potentially happen this time of year. But this is something much more likely to happen at some point, maybe in later October, November, or December. Just purely a fantasy forecast. This is McCord showing they would get a 55 mile per hour gust out of that scenario. Now here we go with the GFS. Check it out. This is 24 24-hour snow total in Kuchera ratio. And you can see some higher terrain of BC and some of the North Cascades. You could see its first snowflakes. We're not talking about a huge snowstorm or anything, but it's always kind of interesting to watch the potential for the first snow to come at this time of year. And you can kind of see that upper level low down across the area here, even down towards the Sierra Nevada, California, and some of Nevada, Idaho, and Montana. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook through September 25th. A lot of the west below average here. A little bit of sliver of near normal. Western Washington, Western Oregon. Here's a 6 to 10 day precip, generally above. But again, the signal isn't too strong for places like Seattle or Portland right now. 8 to 14 day all the way through the end of September. Some troughing still hanging on across the west coast. Here you can see the eastern portions, or at least east of the Rockies, quite a bit above average. Not quite a bit. That's actually just probability here. I kind of misspoke there. But anyway, 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook here. This goes through September 29th, above average signal for Pacific Northwest. But yeah, interesting stuff out there. The volcano going on. We're going to start to cool things down and get out there and enjoy that last warm day for at least a few days, and the potential for another nice weekend though across the area as we go through next weekend. So cross your fingers for that if you like this warm weather. And if you don't, you know, the fall and winter stuff will be coming soon enough. The days are getting shorter, and we will start to get some of these mid-latitude cyclones further down into our region here. But yeah, we'll be watching that upper level low here over the next few days, coming down across the area. Maybe some higher terrain snowfall, and definitely cool us down if nothing else. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this again tomorrow. Oh, I'm working on that El Nino video. I should have it out in the next day or two. I keep going down these little rabbit holes with what kind of data I want to include in the video here. But we'll talk about things as we go, over the next day or two. I'll have that video out most likely. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.